I didn't give two shits about you two and your bikes. I just went and sorted mine out. So I was just there like, I'm going to save myself 20 quid. You guys, fuck it. You do what you want.
She's
I
like,
don't care.
she's like, they're dual income. Yes, they've got kids and they cost a fortune, but who gives a shit about them?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Finish Podcast. We are your hosts, Hayley and Abby, and in today's episode, we're going to be escaping the Sunday Scaries of last week and instead looking at all the different hats we typically tend to wear as a way of unwinding and reducing that burnout and just giving ourselves a little bit of purpose in life, really. And I think one of the main things that's led to this is that we've got a very exciting trip coming up, Hayley, haven't we?
We do indeed. And I think by the time we've released this episode, that trip will have already started, won't it? We will actually be together.
I think so, yes. So anyone who's listening to this on release, if this is Friday and you are listening to this, one of our proper true supporters, then just know that me and Hayley are together right now and I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited. I'm going to give everybody a little clue as to where we're going through the act of song. This is where Hayley goes, oh my fucking God, she didn't warn me she was going to do this. So you might have heard this song, Hayley. So to all of our listeners, have a think. Where do you think we might have gone to? This could be Rotterdam or anywhere, Liverpool or Rome. Because I don't know the words.
Oh God, I don't know that song.
Anywhere alone.
I don't know why, but I was expecting you to do the song that's something like, I got my drugs in Amsterdam. Dun, 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 dun. When you said that, that's what I was expecting. And then that did not come out your mouth. What came out of your mouth was definitely something much more Abby-fied than that other song that I was expecting. And that just shows the difference in our personalities, doesn't it?
I know. I feel like so the song that I was doing. So just if anyone hasn't got it by now, we are going to Rotterdam. The song that I chose, I think, is a bit more old school, and people are probably likely to know it. Whereas I have never heard of the one that you sang, but I'm pretty sure that you sang this when we actually went to Amsterdam.
Yes.
Because it sounds familiar.
I used it in one of the reels that we had from when we went to the big nightclub in Amsterdam. So we had some videos and I posted it online, and then I chose that song because it kind of represents Amsterdam and it was really funny and I just thought it was great. So I just assumed that you would remember what that song was.
That's where I've heard it from. That's where I've heard it from. But yes, we are off to Rotterdam and actually we should be there right now. Woo! I mean, if there's anyone who's how we upload it quite early, our episodes, we upload at 5 o'clock in the morning, don't we, Hayley? So if there is anyone that is actually listening to it, if you are, go to sleep for goodness sake. But if you are listening to it and it's between the hours of basically before 9 o'clock, then technically we are both on planes right now. I'm probably loving life, just ignoring whoever I'm sat next to, just looking at the ground below. Whereas Hayley, well, we all know what Hayley's probably doing right now. She's on a plane.
I was just going to say that, guess everybody how Hayley will be feeling between the hours of 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. I will not be loving life. I will not be excited about the trip. I will literally be shitting my pants and probably having anxiety attacks and probably questioning my life choices. And I will also be squeezing my husband's hand so hard that it will go blue. But it's all good.
The pain she puts herself through, for one, for the event that we're going to in Rotterdam, but also two, for seeing your best mate. It's I must push through it. I must push through the fear. I must push through the tears. But as we all know, Hayley will be fine as long as she's sat at the back of the plane. Them's the rules, isn't it?
Actually, I just have to say though, Abby, that I'm not doing this for you. I'm not going to Rotterdam for you. We were going to go regardless. You just coming along is an added bonus, but you are not the main reason. Sorry, but electronic dance music is more important to me.
I mean, to be fair, yeah. I was invited, you basically were just me and Manuel are going. You can come if you want. We know you won't because you never want to come with us, but the offer's there. And I remember being do you know what? I'm going to fucking come with you. I've just turned it. I've just turned it into this, they're obviously doing this all for me because they just miss me so much.
Who does she think she is? What an idiot.
But I mean, I love traveling anyway. And again, this is so if we're talking about the different hats that we wear, and things that can like, I don't know, give us a different identity other than just our work mode. Because I feel like, especially on a Sunday afternoon, we've got the Sunday Scaries. We spoke about it in the last episode. It takes up so much of our time and we're constantly thinking about work even before it's even a work day. So actually, it's really nice that we have things that we do in our lives that is not to do with work, which gives us downtime. And, you know, it helps that burnout, helps us to feel better, helps your mental health, helps you just feel like you have a purpose in other ways. And so for me,
Yeah.
going to Rotterdam and having an adventure and going and exploring a new city is that method for me. Whereas for you, Hayley, do you want to talk about what it is that we're actually going to do in Rotterdam?
And happily talk about it. So, if people haven't already gathered, my husband and I really like electronic dance music, which is actually quite a recent thing for us. When I say recent, it's been around 2 to 3 years, which is relatively recent. We do describe ourselves as ravers, whereas the real ravers that have been around for a very long time would probably look at us and be like, "You're not fucking ravers. You're these like new generation of Instagram ravers." You know,
Why am I now suddenly thinking of 60-year-old ravers, though? Like, just looking down at you. Just be like,
in the 90s, in the basement, everyone off their tits. Like, that's what I see as, you know, the proper ravers from back in the day before
glow
phones
sticks.
existed and all of that. Yeah. But we are like really into electronic dance music and we're into music that doesn't have lyrics because I think some people might think of like David Guetta and Calvin Harris and all the kind of more mainstream events that you might go to. And that's definitely how we started. That was like the bridge for us to getting into this music. My husband and I have gradually been exploring different types of electronic dance music, and we discovered that we really quite like trance music. And one of the artists that we really like is Armin van Buuren, who we saw last year in Romania at Untold Festival. His set was absolutely incredible, really euphoric. There was a live singer that came out. It was really, really, really beautiful. And we introduced this particular artist to one of my husband's friends. And he was really excited. He'd never listened to EDM before. And he was like so excited and so into it. And he was like, "Oh my God, if ever you find an event with this particular dude, let me know because I'd really like to go and see him." And it was soon after that when we discovered that there is this trance festival happening in Rotterdam called A State of Trance. So it is a 2-day festival over Friday and Saturday evenings with lots of different trance artists. And I'm so freaking excited.
I
And I
feel like
loved,
it
you
was
know,
kind of perfect for you, wasn't it, as well? Because it's that artist's kind of like event.
yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's going to be new because we've not been to this type of event before. We typically go to festivals where there's kind of a variety of music. So you obviously go and pick and choose what you're into, where you can go and explore, which I really like. We've done Tomorrowland, we've done Untold, we get to Creamfields every year. And then we
Mm.
live in Manchester. We're very, very lucky because we've got the Warehouse Project here. And that means that you can essentially just pick and select what you're interested in. You know, you just pay for your ticket and go and watch the artists that you're into. Whereas we've not had a specific trance experience before. So I'm really excited. It might be that we get there and go, actually, that was a bit too much. You know, maybe it isn't, we're not into it as much as we thought. But
Yeah.
I'm just really excited for a new experience in a new place. And I'm also really excited for you to come. You come in one night, aren't you, to the actual festival? Are you coming one
Yeah.
night?
Yeah, sure.
Are you going to?
What I haven't told Hayley at this point is I still haven't actually got my ticket yet.
Are you hearing this? Honest, you absolutely yet. Now,
My
I'm very
thought was actually that
excited.
I could probably get it, like, when I'm there, because then I can judge whether or not I wanna go and, explore Rotterdam or whether I'll be like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go do this." I think in the back of my mind, because I keep checking up on the website, I think in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, "Well, if they sell out, I can't go to the trance festival, I'm gonna have to go and find a little cute bar that's playing cheesy music," and I'll go, "Ah, what a shame," as I drink my rum and coke, like, "Oh, those guys must be having the time of their lives while I'm here watching, like, a drag queen sing, like, ABBA."
Or in a karaoke bar somewhere singing ABBA yourself
Yeah, yeah.
to a
If I
bunch
can't
of
find
old
anyone to do
men.
it, I'll do it.
You'll do it. Oh, I've been literally saying to Manuel, we've been watching sets on YouTube, just like preparing ourselves and feeling really excited. And we found these different artists and we have specifically found ones that were like, Abby would like this. We've been
Oh,
thinking
really?
of you as we've been trying to plan, you know, they've released the set times and we've been trying to plan kind of depending on which day you were coming to see what you would like.
Mm.
So, do you know what, guys? Let's make this our mission. Abby is going to come to one evening, one or the other, Friday or Saturday. I didn't expect her to come to both because she's a frugal bitch.
Very, very frugal. Like, I do not deny this. Everybody knows this at this point. It can be annoying at some points. But I think for me, because I'm not into this sort of music. I'm not into EDM. So I am very much into my cheesy music. I'm into like my 80s, and I'm into kind of like acoustic stuff and ABBA. So this isn't my cup of tea. This isn't my jam. So the agreement was always, I'm going to do one night because then I can get to spend time with you guys and sharing that experience with you. But
Mm-hmm.
then I am in Rotterdam. There's going to be so much for me to explore. So I'm a bit of a lone wolf anyway. So it wouldn't be unusual for me just to go and take myself off while these guys then did the second night, or if these guys did the first night and I didn't, and I would go and just explore and find something really cool to go and do myself.
Just like you did last time we were in Amsterdam, Abby, where you decided to go wanders in the middle of the night by yourself.
Oh yeah, well, that was alcohol. That was.
She did. She literally did. She is a lone wolf. She will just go off and wander without telling you. And then you'll find out the next
Mm.
day and be like, what the fuck? That's not
Yeah.
safe. She's like, fine. I just went for a wander and I like moved the bike because I was worried about it. At 3 o'clock in the morning on your own whilst you're wasted? Like,
Now that's because I'm frugal. So I don't know if anyone's ever been to Amsterdam, right? You can do bike rentals, and so we rented out bikes, but you have to drop them off at like a location where you can actually say that they're finally finished. So we ended up using bikes, but we were all, I think we were drunk, and we decided to leave the bikes kind of in a location where they weren't going to finish properly. So if they didn't make it back in time to a station, they would charge us for another day. And I, once I sobered up a little bit, was like, oh, the bikes. And this must have been about like, 2 o'clock in the morning or something. And I think we only had like a couple of hours, or it needed to be done before like 8 o'clock in the morning when everything reset. And I was like, I need to go and move the bikes. I mean,
yeah.
obviously there was only me. I'm in the middle of Amsterdam. I don't fucking know where I am. I'm drunk as a skunk. I'm riding this bike I've got I've got
No
no
internet?
on my phone or internet because
internet.
I don't pay for it abroad because I'm too frugal. And so there's gonna be on a mission like, I'm fucking paying another 20 quid for this fucking bike. So I'd find a place so I can drop it off. It accepts it, locks it in, and then I'm like, shit, now I need to walk back to the hotel. I've got no directions because I've got no internet. I'm still drunk. How? By some miracle, I did it. I don't know how. Maybe someone helped me. I don't know. Did it take 5 hours? Did it take half an hour? I don't know. All I remember is getting back to the hotel, getting into my bed and feeling very accomplished. And the annoying fucking thing is, we all woke up well before 8 o'clock and we were well out the door before 8 o'clock. So I think about like 7:30, you guys were like, we need to go move the bikes. And so we got there and there was only 2 bikes and we were like, where's the other bike? And I went, yes, I moved mine I went across the city of Amsterdam and then I walked home. And so we had to then go and take your bike somewhere, and you guys got out of paying the charge as well. So I should have just bloody waited.
It was wild. Like, the way that we looked at you, we were so surprised. And the most hilarious thing is that you parked your bike really far away because obviously you had no signal, you were wasted, you didn't really know what you were doing. And then when we actually moved our bikes, there were so many other closer places that you could have moved your bike to. And we ended up having to walk ages to get to your bike. And then you had some memory of what happened and you were like, Hayley, I'm sure it took me about an hour to get back. Whereas actually it was like a 5 or 10 minute walk if you would have followed a map that you clearly didn't have access to. The whole thing was extremely bizarre. So so hopefully our listeners are getting a sense of what Abby is actually like. She's disastrous and will just fuck off and do her own thing. So it will be a miracle if we get you into the festival. All I will say is, out of all the different types of music that we do like, I think the trance music is probably the nicest. I think it's probably the one that you would enjoy the most because it is really euphoric, it's really fun, and a lot of it does have lyrics. Because I think that's one thing you don't like is the music that we listen to that has like 0 lyrics, and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I like singing, or I like to know what the song's about, and words do that for me. And I can listen to classical musical, that's fine. But for some reason, any other music, if there's just no singing in it, I'm just like, oh, what do I do? Am I happy? Am I sad? I don't know how to feel. No one's telling me what to do because they're not expressing it with words.
You're just meant to feel it. We're just meant to feel the music. And as you've probably gathered, everyone, Abby struggles with her feelings.
I think that's what it is. And you just be like, just feel it. Just like let it take over you. Feel like the wave. Feel what emotion you need to. And I'm like, no. Is it about love? Is it about a breakup? What's going on? Do I need to cry? And then I'll just sit there, like I'll be looking at everyone, and be like, how are you? Are you sad? Or are you happy? Are we happy? We're happy?
You are so rigid. Do you remember at Creamfields, the first set that we went to? So I took Abby to Creamfields, it would be 2 years ago this year. And the first set that we went to, you'd only had like 1 or 2 drinks. So you weren't even a bit tipsy at that point. And you
Oh,
just stood there.
yeah.
There's like a massive group of us, and we were all like, yeah, having a great time getting into it. And I just turned around because I was like really, nervous about Abby and making sure she was okay. And you were just stood there, so fucking rigid. You just look like a robot amongst a bunch of ravers. It was so funny.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well. Like I like having a bit of a dance. I like having a bit of a boogie, and I
Yeah.
can't. There's certain music types. It's not just like your music type. Like it's really heavy stuff as well. Like I don't know how to bop
Mm.
to that. I'm very much like a bit of a mum when it comes. I'll be like swinging my arms around. Be like, I'll give it a bit of that. Maybe like
Yeah.
a bit of a roly poly arm thing. Like, oh yeah. Oh, just a little bit, all that. But whereas like when it's this stuff and everyone's just like or whatever, and I'm just like, are we headbanging? Nope, that don't need to fit. Do I just bob? And I'm just like, and then I don't know what to do, so I just go, I cannot do it.
Mhm.
I stand here.
Well, I'm going to make it my mission to, one, get you to the actual festival, and then I'm going to make you dance, and I'm going to record, and I'm going to share it on our social media. So everybody keep your eyes peeled for Abby dancing at the Estate Trance Festival.
Please have me in your thoughts, everybody, because like we said, by the time this releases, I will be in Rotterdam with Hayley. And if I've decided that I'm doing the Friday night, I could very well be there now, living my rigid life, not knowing what to do or what to feel. Probably thinking, I'm hungry, I want some food. I miss my karaoke.
But the things we do are for our friends, right?
Mm.
That's a sacrifice that you're making. You knew that Manuel and I were going specifically for the festival.
Yeah.
As much as we love you dearly, it wasn't a case of let's arrange a lovely trip together. We do tend to do those, don't we? But we haven't for a while. But this trip was really important for me and Manuel. And we invited you because I think we typically do, right? You can just be the third wheeler and just like come join us on everything because she's practically family.
I'm the third person in their relationship.
You are. We're kind of like a throuple, but without like
But
the
without the sex.
romantic. I was going to say without the romantic stuff and the sex,
I
but
was
yeah,
going to
other
say
than that, we
without
are
the
like,
hugs as well, without any, no touching whatsoever.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
Oh,
the
no
voyeur
touching.
without even watching them.
So we're going anyway,
Sacrifice.
and then we invited you, and I genuinely didn't believe that you would come because it's obviously not your thing. And when you did say like, okay, I'm coming, and then you actually booked your flights, and I was like, my God, this is actually happening. And I feel like you're making a bit of a sacrifice there for us, and I'm very grateful. I just want to say that out loud. I'm really happy you're coming. And I know that we've got the 2 nights of the festival, but actually we are going to be there for 4 days. We've got all the lovely moments in between. I've not even thought about what we're going to do, to be honest. I've not even looked at what Rotterdam has because I've been so busy. And I don't think I've truly processed that is happening this Friday. So I don't know, have you actually looked at anything that you want to do other than find a karaoke bar?
Well, you know what I'm like. I'm a bit of a nerd, and so I like a museum. So they've got lots of stuff in Rotterdam, lots of history stuff. So, and plus, there's this really cool building that I really want to go see. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I see it in pictures, and I'm like, that's cool. I want to look at that and take a photo of it. So we can go and check it out. But I probably will do, especially because I know that at the very least, I know that I'm doing one night, so I've got one all night also on my own. So I will do a little bit of research before we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be there right now. I wonder what it is that we've decided to do, Hayley.
I'm going to make a guess. So we are arriving around 9 a.m.-ish in the morning, roughly. I can't remember exactly, but we both arrive around at the same time. I would really like us to go and hire bikes, just like we did in
Oh,
Amsterdam.
you said, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want us
just
to do the same.
let's just make sure that we always park our bikes back into the places that they need to go, though, because as much as I love a little adventure, I'm not being funny, but I don't particularly want to have a do-over of Amsterdam.
That's on you. That is on you. You're the one that decided to go out. Like, you should try to put this on me, everyone. No. We were fine. You just made up some freak story in your mind and then took yourself out on a dangerous quest. That's on
Do you
you.
know what? Do you know what makes me laugh so much, though? It's the fact that, like, I don't give 2 shits about you two and your bikes. I just went and sorted mine out. So I was just there like, I'm going to save myself 20 quid. You guys, fuck it. You do what you want.
She's
I
like-
don't care.
She's like, they're dual income. Yes, they've got kids and they cost a fortune, but who gives a shit about them?
I was like, I could have gone and woken them up and been like, right, guys, I'm going to go and move the bikes. But instead, I just snuck out and went, thinking like, I'm saving some money. Fucked myself royally anyway, because I put it in the wrong place. 2, we ended up moving the bikes probably before the timer was up anyway. So it's just, it was such a waste. But it just makes me die that I didn't even think about you two. I was just saving myself and my bank account.
These are the best stories, though. We've got so many funny stories from our trips away, haven't we? And I
We
guess
have.
for us, trips away are a really important way for us to recharge and disconnect from work. We both really
Mm.
love traveling. We both love adventures. I think we both like adventures, but different types. I feel like
Mhm.
you and my husband are more adventurous in a similar way, whereas I'm
Yeah.
adventurous in a different way. Whereas in like, you guys will put yourself in danger. Whereas, like, I won't do that. You go into like abandoned places and think that's really cool. Whereas I'm just there like rocking in a corner for anxiety, like, no, we can't do that. So I
I mean,
actually
to be
imagine.
fair, I give that to you because as much as I can be like, what, you know, when have I ever gotten myself into trouble by going and exploring an abandoned place? But I have, guys. I once broke my hand because I was exploring exploring an old RAF base. I'm not going to say where, so if someone doesn't come and arrest me. Um, I was exploring an old abandoned RAF base. The funny thing is, right, I'd just seen some graffiti on the wall and it said, "You are going to die." And I took a photo of it and was like, "Oh, that's a bit ominous, isn't it?" And so I went running back to my partner at the time, who was in like this other hallway, really excited to be like, "Oh my God, I've just seen this creepy graffiti. I'm going to die soon." And I didn't realize that I stood on a drain or like a manhole cover. And as I stood on it, the manhole cover turned to the side and went upright and I fell through it and I fell down it, fell down into the
Wow.
drain. And, I broke my hand, and that I don't think I
Oh,
told my mum for a very long time because she'd have been like, "Well, where were you? What were you doing?" And I couldn't be like, "I was exploring an old RAF abandoned RAF base, and then I fell down a hole."
I have a question for you, Abby. How do you know that you broke your hand? Did a doctor did, did a doctor tell you that?
So I don't like to cause a fuss. So I knew that I'd hurt my hand real fucking bad because I couldn't fucking move my fingers really. And it hurt so much. And my partner at the time managed to get me out of the thingy and to back to safety. And I just didn't tell him. I remember being in so much shock that I remember almost doing like a full body scan in my head and being like, "I'm fine. Yep, I'm not paralyzed. I've not had a head injury. I'm fine. Let's get out of here. I want to go home now." And I remember having to try and climb out of this building like through a window without the use of my hands. It was just floppy and painful. And I was just using everything with this hand. And I was so, for some reason, I just didn't even tell him. I didn't tell him for about 2 hours that something was wrong with my hand until he noticed when we were back home and I just wasn't using it. And he was like, "Have you hurt your hand?" And I was like, "I think so." And when he like pulled my sleeve down, it had gone black. And it was
Jesus
so
Christ.
puffed up. Everything was puffed up. My arms started puffing up, and my all around, like thumb and down here, was all black. And he was like, "Right, that's it. I'm taking you to hospital." And I was absolutely adamant I was not going to hospital. I would refuse to get into his car. I would be fine. And it took about 2 months before it fully was sorted. And I just got my own cast for it. And yeah, so if you're going to go and explore abandoned places, guys, watch where you're putting your feet.
Or just go to the fucking doctors if you hurt yourself, guys. We pay a shitload of tax in this country and we have the NHS. Thank you to all the lovely NHS workers listening. Where the fuck are the appointments though, guys? um, but me, my husband, and your partner at the time kept on telling you to go and get it checked out, and you just outright refused. I'm
No,
surprised that your hand is still there, to be honest. Because it sounded pretty bad. And that's
I
the
know it
difference,
was.
isn't it, between you and me, is that you will go and put yourself in those situations. You'll push the boundaries and you'll push your limits because you really want to experience that thrill, or I don't know, you tell me what you're looking for. Whereas my anxiety is a protective factor in these cases. Keeps me alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So if I start getting really itchy feet, if I start getting stressed and like the work stress is building up or other stresses in my life, my instinct is to escape. And that means running away and just getting out of my hometown, going somewhere where there's no people, kind of not really existing for a little while. And I think for
Mm.
me, those sorts of places where I can truly escape is like up a mountain or in the woods or I don't know, just somewhere basically where there's just nobody around. And then ultimately that
Mm.
just happens to be more dangerous places, I think. But like if I go and sit at the top of a mountain or like up the top of a peak where there's not really any other people, in that moment, it's like euphoric. And I just feel so
Yeah.
far away from all of my problems. Whereas I don't feel like I could, if I went to like a spa or something, I would just hate it because people are touching me and there's too many people around and then there'd probably be a kid crying and it would just stress me out. So being in the middle of
Mm.
buttfuck nowhere, which just coincidentally happens to also be a little bit more dangerous, is where I need to be. And so, yeah, you end up with broken hands and all sorts.
I'm totally with you on that, to be honest. I much prefer doing those things as well. Nature is my happy place. I just don't like hurting myself. and I don't like
No,
that kind of stress.
I don't like hurting myself. It just happens. It, it just happens.
Fair.
I don't go looking for the problems. The problems find me. I'm a problem magnet. But it's okay, everybody. It was my left hand. It wasn't my wanking arm, so it was fine. I think if it was my right hand, I probably would have gone to the hospital because I need that more. Not just for wanking, like for writing as well. So that's also just as important.
We have like technology that can do that for you nowadays. So actually, the hand's mostly for wanking, isn't it? Be honest.
I thought you meant there was technology now for wanking, and I was about to be like, "Fuck, what is this? What? How do we do this? We've got AI wanking machines. Like, how does that work?" I was so curious. My head instantly started trying to work that out, and I was just like, "Do we detach pads to our flaps? What's going on?"
No, cringe. No, right. Moving on from that, I can't go with the thought of that.
I
A
actually saw
squeamish
really
Hayley.
quickly, just to like completely derail this conversation. When I was on my walk earlier today, I really like finding fungus and mushrooms and things like that out and about because it's just, it's part of nature and I think mushrooms are beautiful. And so if you've, like, I found a tree branch that had loads of bracket mushrooms, which are like the little things that look like shelves that come out, but they're also a little bit gooey and a bit floppy. And I was there literally like with one of them going like, and all I kept thinking was like, oh my God, if I was a man, this is what I would want to do to a vagina.
I can actually imagine you doing that. I can actually imagine that.
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. It was a fun part of my day today.
Do you know what the worst thing is? Though I could just imagine my husband being there right next to you and doing it with you, like. Whereas I would definitely be the person standing a few meters away, looking at them, thinking, "What an absolute pair of weirdos!" rolling my eyes at you.
Oh, you just got to find joys in the little things, and the bracket mushrooms did that for me today. It was a pleasurable experience. I'm sure they got some pleasure out of it as well. But but
Brilliant.
yeah, so we definitely have things that we try and do. Traveling is definitely one of them. I mean, I like a city break as well. Like
Mm.
I would happily. I like staying in a nice hotel and going on a city break and exploring like Rome, for example. Absolutely beautiful place, absolutely stunning. So it's not all just like escapes and things like that. But like
Mm.
what on that topic then, Hayley, what else do we tend to do? Or what's something else that you like to do? So if you think about like, how big the Sunday Scaries were building up for us the last couple of weeks, has
Mm.
there been anything that you've done that kind of allows you to escape that or like bring it down, like kind of taking a pan off the pot from sizzling? What do you do?
I'm very passionate about not living for the weekend. So
I
for
thought you were just
me,
gonna stop at not living. You're like, I'm just passionate about not living. Same, same girl.
that was the case for many years, and then I had children. I don't want to pass on the trauma. But no, I'm very passionate about not living for the weekend. You know how a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't wait till it's Friday. I can't wait till it's Friday."
Yeah.
And I used to be like that, and I'd be miserable throughout the whole week. And I'm not saying that I'm not miserable throughout the week because I generally am, but I like to have things during the week, as in like after work, to do that breaks up my week and gives me a sense of purpose and an identity outside of work. So something that I really enjoy doing is going to my acting lessons on Thursday evenings,
Yeah.
which I've been doing now for just over a year. And I started that when I was in a really bad place emotionally. My mental health was really not great around kind of Christmas last
Mm.
year. And I was really looking for something to push myself out of my comfort zone, make new friends. I felt like I needed to expand my social circle. And I've always had an interest in drama, and I'm really passionate about speaking. I deliver a lot of training at work, and I'm really confident and confident standing up in front of loads of people and delivering a speech or delivering a training course. So
Mm.
I kind of had this thought that drama acting could be something I'd be interested in. And honestly, it just completely changed my life. I absolutely love going. I've learned so much. I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone. We've talked in a previous episode briefly about how I don't like being on camera. That's something
Yeah.
that I really struggle with, and I get really anxious, like even to this day. So I'm really happy doing the acting stuff off camera. Whereas now what I'm trying to do is develop my skills big on camera, and I'm starting to explore self-taping, doing auditions. I want to set up in my basement like a little back screen. You can get them on Amazon for not that much money. So I just want to start doing some audition type
Sounded like an
stuff.
ad then. It'd be like not affiliated with Amazon.
Not fitting with Amazon. Oh, oh my God. Yeah, sorry. Let's ditch Amazon, guys.
I thought that's where you're going to go. I'd be like, and actually, speaking of things, you can get this one on Amazon for $5.99. Use code Hayley for 10% off.
Do you know what? That's not a bad idea.
Like Amazon,
Um,
Amazon, Weatherspoons, hear us
I was just
out.
going to say Amazon, also Bill's. We've mentioned Bill's restaurant a few times as well. We need to start getting sponsorships.
You are welcome, everybody.
But yeah, so that's one thing that I really enjoy doing. I like to be up on the floor, actually acting and engaging.
Mm.
I love improv. So yeah, that's been a really great experience for me. And it just gives me something to look forward to during the week. And it's curious, do you not think, Abby, because of your background and you
Mm.
being a natural, and you were like always super into your drama. What was that face for?
She were like, you're a natural. And I was like,
You're a
no,
natural. She's very natural. And I always knew that you were really into drama and like comedy and all of that stuff. Yet we'd never connected over that at all. Whereas since I've discovered or like started acting, I feel like that's given us a new connection. We talk about it a lot more.
yeah,
It's been
you
nice.
get to
Yeah.
experience now, and yeah, and I think when people have never done something like acting, drama, theatre related stuff, it can feel quite intense at first. But actually,
Mm,
when you get a taste for it, you can always kind of see how maybe it can transform somebody to pay, I don't know, maybe be a bit more charismatic or a bit more confident or just all sorts of things. Whereas I think
mm,
when somebody doesn't have any experience with it whatsoever and has never had any interest in wanting to do it, when they meet someone that's got a bit of a drama theatrical background, and especially when you know that you've gone to uni to do drama, I imagine there's a lot of people that kind of go, "What the fuck? Why would you go to university to go and do fucking theatre?"
mhm,
And so it's probably a bit misunderstood. So the fact that you then started it, oh, so exciting because I
mm,
fucking love it, absolutely love it. I just don't really do it much now. That I've got like my career sorted, but it is
mm,
so much fun, isn't it, Haley? Although something to ask you though is, you talk about like the acting on camera and stuff like that, and how you find it a little bit difficult. How do you find the
mhm,
podcast? Because obviously this is on camera.
mhm. I
How
mean,
do you find
the talking is fine. I just don't like watching the videos. So when they pop up on Instagram, I let them play because I want to help the algorithm. But I don't tend to watch. I don't like seeing myself on camera. I've always had a bit of an issue with like myself in general. I think we talked about this in a previous episode where kind of
Yeah.
self-esteem, body image stuff. I just don't like the way that I look. I'm working on it, guys. Don't worry. I'm
Oh,
not like gonna shoot myself or anything. But
please don't.
yeah. No,
Let's
don't worry,
finish
I won't. Don't
Rotterdam
worry.
first.
Don't worry.
Let's finish
Let's do them.
Rotterdam.
But no, podcasting, I'm loving it. You know that I'm loving it. I just don't like watching the videos. That's literally it. Whereas you know that I can listen to myself for hours on end. And so can you, because we're weird.
I know, we're the sort of people that play back our voice notes to each other.
My husband, it drives him crazy. He's like, why the fuck are you doing it again, Haley? And I'm like, I just like the way that I sound. And I also love it in acting lessons because whenever we do Shakespeare, that's apparently where I thrive.
Mm.
Apparently I have this talent that I obviously never knew that I had, but we've all got different things that we're good at. Comedy's not my thing. I just can't. I don't have it. Whereas when we do Shakespeare and I put on my really posh voice, I absolutely thrive with that. And I'm like, just record me so I can listen to myself all day.
Especially, yeah, especially with some of those monologues. They're epic, aren't they? Yeah.
I love doing them. Really love doing them. I
Yeah.
don't understand a word that I'm saying because I don't obviously understand. I never did Shakespeare at school. So I don't actually understand any of the Shakespearean language, but my God, it's so nice. I love it.
I don't think anyone really does, to be honest with Shakespeare. It's just a bit of a, I don't know. It's a hard script to learn.
Our teachers know. Yeah, they make us go through and we have to kind of do it sentence for sentence and translate it and really understand it because they truly believe that how can you act and get your audience to believe that you're feeling what you're feeling if you don't
Mm.
understand what you're acting, what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's really important to them that we understand it, which I do agree with. It's good.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. It's interesting that you kind of have that as your almost like a little bit of escape and a way to kind of like unwind. Because when
Mm,
I first started doing acting and drama, I was first introduced to it when I started high school, so a little bit later than some students. And I was so timid and nervous and shy and lacking confidence. And I decided that I would do drama and stick with drama across all my GCSEs, A levels. Obviously, went to uni to go
mm,
do it. And I genuinely think that I am the way that I am today because of all of the drama experience. And it's so
mm,
good for just coming out of your shell and just you get to play a different part and a different mask and you get to escape who you are for a little while. And I
yeah.
think that does wonders for so many people, regardless of if you're a young person or if you're an older person. I think it's just never too late to dive into something like a bit of acting or a bit of theatre because it's good fun and very helpful.
Oh, I recommend it now nonstop. I didn't have the love or respect or appreciation of drama in general. And because I didn't understand it, I used to
Mm.
just think, oh, that's probably an easy job. Look at those people getting, like famous actors and how we all judge them. I go, look at them for getting shitloads of money, whereas all they're doing is acting as if
Yeah.
it's easy. And, when you actually start learning about the ins and outs of the industry, or, well,
Mm.
obviously they're different parts of the industry, aren't there? You go, wow, this is actually a really intense job. And even last week, I played a character who we were doing improv. And I didn't realize that obviously it was going to go the way it was going, but I ultimately got murdered. And I was
Ah,
like
nice.
screaming and I was shaking and I was experiencing all of the emotions and I was actually feeling it in the moment and it was amazing. But after that, I was like, oh, that was intense. And you don't
Mhm.
have that appreciation unless you've actually experienced that. So I have so
Yeah.
much love and respect for actors and people in the industry. And I do think that all children should do it at some point. It doesn't have to be like the thing that they do, as their favorite hobby. But we put our youngest into drama school 2.5 years ago when he was about 4, because he was quite shy. He was a COVID baby, so he kind of not lacked social skills, but he had like kind of lacked
Yeah.
a lot of experiences, as a lot of children had. And because we'd moved up north and didn't know anybody, we were little bit worried about how shy he was, and we just wanted to really support him. And my goodness, putting him to acting, drama academy, has transformed him, and he's now so confident, and his facial expressions, Abby, like you and him,
I
your facial expressions are brilliant. You could literally just come and
He's
be on
so
camera
good
and
at
pull
it.
faces at each other. So
Yep.
highly recommend is one thing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
that's my
Absolutely.
escape. What do you do? What's your thing? Because I know you obviously you did do drama, but you're not doing that anymore at the moment, are you? What else do
Yeah,
you do?
no, taking a bit of a break from the theatre side for a little while, but that will pick back up again hopefully soon. I think so. I mean, actually going away and just having escapes, going on hikes, things like that, doing lots of active stuff is definitely my main thing, including going for runs and going running. So I definitely have periods of time where I will go running more. And usually it's when I'm a bit stressed or my mental health is a bit low. Then I tend to pick it
Mm,
back up again. Whereas when I'm feeling a little bit more normal, I tend not to go running because I'm then making plans with friends or I'm doing some other hobbies. I guess one of the big things that I've always kind of done ever since I was younger as well is I'm a massive gamer. I love
mm,
my video games. It doesn't matter how old I get, I'm always probably going to love my video games until I literally do not have the dexterity in my hands anymore. So I will just get lost in it. I've always had like pretty much every console that you can think of, and I will spend hours and hours and hours getting lost in a game. And it sounds probably stupid for some people who don't like gaming, but it is, you get
like me,
immersed like Haley. You
like
could
me.
get immersed in a story game and you are the character in the game and you just like lost. Like I could easily go like hours and hours and
Mm,
hours without checking my phone at all. So if people don't get hold of me, it's probably because I'm just vegging out and playing video games. So
mm,
I would say that's probably something. And you don't have to leave your house. And so you can stay in the warmth and you can be surrounded by snacks, which is also very
mm,
good. So so I think between video gaming and running and active stuff and
mm,
going on escapes, I think that's how I settle my noggin and show
mm.
that I do other things that I find enjoyable and give me purpose other than going to work. So
I love that. I am just remembering about 8 years ago, you despised running. Do you remember?
I did. I
Do you remember?
did.
You did not. You were just like
Yeah.
running. You rolled your eyes at running. And then after I had my youngest, I always struggled with my weight, didn't I? I always still do.
Mm.
And that's when I started running because I wanted to change my relationship with food, my relationship with my body. And running was like the starting point for me. And then it wasn't long after that you then were like, oh, I'm going to have a go at this as well. Because our mental health was both really dodgy back then, wasn't it? Not that it's great nowadays, but it's a little bit better.
I was gonna say, I think it's
And
just a permanent state for us now. We're just
yeah.
depressed pigeons.
Just yeah. But then you started running and you loved it. And then I remember at one point I stopped and you continued. And I used to get really jealous. I was like, running was my thing, Abby. I started running. You copied me. And now you're better at me. And I was getting so frustrated, but also like really proud of you at the same time. And do you
Yeah.
remember that we went through a phase not that long ago that whenever you went running, Manuel and I would get the notification on our phones through the running
Yeah.
app. And we would literally just sit there pressing all the buttons to cheer you on. And you've got all these different options of like stadium wave, go, go,
Go,
go, a
go, go.
cheer, a horn.
Whoa. Yeah, all of that sort of stuff, yeah. Sound
So my
effects.
husband and I would just take it in turns to press like all the buttons at once just to piss Abby off. And it got
Because
to a point where Abby,
it would stop my music or it would stop my podcast that I was listening to. And like when I don't know if there's any runners out there, but when you're like 3 kilometers into your run, you're feeling a bit like, do I want to stop? But
yeah.
you're right into your music and that's keeping you going. Suddenly when like that cuts off because you've got go, go, go and honk and whoa for about 5 minutes. It's not ideal. And they then realized that they could do recordings of their voices and send them through to me. And so Manuel, Haley's husband, would be like, oh no, have I stopped your music? Oh, is this really annoying? And I would literally be there like, oh, yes, you just job you're in fucking Manchester because I will murder you.
That was the whole purpose, though, was to annoy you. We used to love life. We'd just be there pressing all the buttons, sending silly
Mhm.
recordings. We thought it was great. And then Abby sent us quite a snotty message and she was like, guys, I think it's becoming a bit too much now. And then she turned off the notifications so that you didn't get them anymore.
I
So
did.
our fun
I
has
did.
stopped.
I did. Yep. Yep. It got to the point, like when you just, it's one too many times. And I was just like, for fuck's sake, I'm not, nope, this is making me really not enjoy my runs. So I was like, right, okay. Ha 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 ha. That was funny at first. Let's fucking stop now. And then I think like you did it one more time. So I was like, right, that's it. I'm turning notifications off. So like I couldn't get anything come through into my headphones in the end. So I turned the little voice off. So I sacrificed the lady being like 2 kilometers, 6.1 per kilometer or whatever. And then I also turned all of that off because I was like, I'm so done. I just want to learn about fucking science, man.
We were just trying to be supportive friends, Abby. We would expect nothing less from you either.
I mean, to be fair, I think I was doing it to you guys. I think like it would be like,
Yeah.
I don't even know who started it first, but if someone did it, the other one would get payback and it would just like go backwards and forwards for a little while. So we say this, we're like, oh yeah, we
Yeah.
get running to like de-stress, but actually we ended up more stressed because it was just like, fucking Hayley.
I love that we all run though, and I haven't spoken to you about this, but Manuel and I have decided we want to do a half marathon because I think we've said before that doing a marathon is something that we'd both really like to do at some point in our lives. But we want to
Yeah.
start with the half marathon, so we're going to look into booking one hopefully for this year, or at some point in the near future. That doesn't necessarily have to be in Manchester. So if you're up for it, we could
I have
do
always
one
wanted to
together.
do that. Yeah. And I think the thing is, I really need somebody who would go running and doing training with me because
Mm.
I'm motivated to do like minimum runs, but like anything more than 10K, I'm not motivated to go out and do that. Whereas if I knew you guys would always signed up for something we were training and you guys were doing it
Yeah,
and we're like, right, okay, we're all going to go out. And I know that you guys are live with me and you're out running doing the same thing, then
yeah.
yeah, I'd probably be more open to do that.
I also know what would motivate you. You'd have to pay a fee to do the marathon.
Is it to get
So
a medal?
yeah, I think you get a medal and probably a banana as well if you're lucky.
I mean, it's probably more the bananas, to be fair. I loved that when I did a run Norwich where they had like a whole fucking table full of bananas. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my God, are these all for me?
I loved that. Norwich one was amazing. Oh my God, I should come down and do that with you at some point again.
So as much as we do get
Mm,
defeated by the Sunday Scaries, who doesn't? At least we know that there are things that we can do in our weeks that can help try and
mm,
counter them and just show us, hey, do you know what? You've got a bit more of a life outside of a job. It's fine. Don't have a meltdown, man. And I
mm.
think it's just really exciting that this week of all weeks, we're seeing each other at the end of it. And so we're going to be here all excited, like, I'm so excited to see you, knowing full well that when people are actually listening to this, we are all ready together. Although equally, if someone's listening to this and it's like a year in advance or something, just know me and Hayley were together when this episode first came out.
We were like packing our bags not as we record, but like very soon after.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. We will be on our planes and I will be probably suffering at the trance thing, but I'll then make Hayley suffer by doing something that I would like to do in Rotterdam. And she can't say no because I just did this whole thing for her. I'll make
That's
her
fine.
sing our karaoke.
I love that. We're going to have a great time. And I just wondered how you felt about the different hats that you wear in terms of your day-to-day job and the stuff that you do outside of work. Do you
Mm.
feel like when you're at work, you have to hide that part of your personality and, like all the other stuff that you do? Do you feel
Yeah.
that any of that contradicts what you're doing on a day-to-day basis or like you can't be yourself? Or do you feel like it's just wearing different hats?
So genuinely, with my job, so I'm in a bit of a caregiving role with my job. So I do feel like that is me. And like the way that it's the same like with kids. Like I always say that I don't like kids. It's like, it's not that I don't like kids. It's just that I don't want my own with them. And I'm always really good with kids. And I think that's authentic. I just always say that I just don't like them. And I think that's the same with like
Mm.
working with people. I'm good at it and I enjoy it. So I think that is an authentic part of myself. But equally, would I still have that amount of kindness when I'm stressed out doing my food shop in Tesco when I've not got my uniform on? Probably not. And, we all know me by now. I drink probably a bit too much. I swear a lot. Actually, I don't think I've swore that much in this episode.
No,
Well, that's
I
fucking
think
shit, isn't
I'm
it?
I think I'm more of a swearer, which has been quite surprising for us.
That is very surprising. So
Mm.
there, yeah. So I think there's a little bit of a authenticity about me in work mode, and my colleagues, the ones I'm close to, see like my personality. But equally, I know that I'm very reclusive. I don't really like people. And so I guess in that aspect, I do take the hat off and then I put on different hats. I've always been someone that's
Mm,
quite outgoing and chatty and extroverted introvert. um,
mm,
and I feel like that is reflected in my job, but I'm just a little bit more stupid and less filters in the real world as opposed to when I'm in my job. It's a bit too
mm,
filtered. I think that version of me. But with my hats for everything else outside of work, I feel like I'm the same person for each of them.
yeah.
So that's me and that's authentic me. I just do different hobbies. So I'm the same with my family, I'm the same with my friends. I like to think I'm the same with partners, but I'm probably not. Yeah, it's just I guess work is the different
Mm.
one. What about you?
I think I'm going through a bit of an interesting period in my life where I'm trying to figure out who I am. That's gone
Oh, is this
very
getting
deep very
deep?
quick.
God,
We're going to
hell.
get towards the end of the episode, and here's me bringing in the deep shit. I think that because I was a teenage parent and because I was so obsessed with qualifying to do the job that I do now, I missed out on a lot of the stuff in the middle that people might go off and do with their lives to maybe figure out who they are and what they want.
Yeah.
Whereas I had this job that I wanted to do from a young age, partly because I really wanted to help people. But I think a big part for me was wanting to stick my middle finger up at people that didn't believe in me when I was younger. And I wanted to prove to everybody that despite being a teenage mom, I could go and get a fucking doctorate and you are now
Yeah.
going to call me doctor. I say that, I don't actually get people to say doctor. But hey ho, the sense is there that I have proven to people that I was capable.
Yes. Yeah.
And I now have this really intense professional role that requires a lot from me. And obviously, when I'm doing that job, there are aspects of like my day to day life outside that can't come into that. Even things like swearing, it's just kind of not, we're with children.
Mhm.
So I've realized through doing the podcast more about myself, which has been really interesting. So how much I do swear, not in front of my children and not at work, but here it's almost like I can be completely free. That's been really interesting. The raving side of stuff is definitely something that I feel that there's a lot of stigma attached to it because of people's misconceptions or prejudice that they have around rave culture. They maybe just don't understand it and have these really negative ideas. Whereas actually, I think it's a really great environment and I've not had any negative experiences so far, touch wood. So that I feel like has been an interesting experience for me to be professional by day, but then like dancing all night, at a rave in a factory somewhere with dripping water from the ceilings. And it's almost like the two
Yeah.
sometimes feel like they shouldn't be going together.
Yeah.
And then the acting stuff as well and the running. I feel like there's this other side of me that's extremely creative and really wants to be doing other stuff with her life. And none of that falls into my day to day job because I was always
Um,
perceived to be like the brainy one, the academic. And that's why I've taken this route. Whereas now I'm definitely questioning, is that job me being authentic or is it just the way that I've trained myself to be because I felt like that was the only option? Whereas actually there's
yeah.
this other side of me that's more fun and much more creative. So my,
Yeah.
my answer is I don't know, but I'm in a lovely discovering journey and I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. So we'll
I
see
don't
where
think
life
that's
takes
such
us.
a I don't think it's such a bad thing either to be exploring that.
No.
It's like we said before in the last episode, like our jobs don't define us. We don't have to like it's not something we have to do for the rest of our lives, that particular thing. And it's okay for us to have worked hard to do something and actually then realize later down the line what your goals actually are and whether or not your
Yeah.
career aligns with those goals.
Yeah.
So I hope you do figure it out, just so that I feel like you can be on the right path for what's going to bring you the most amount of happiness. Because ultimately, not to
Mm.
sound like a millennial dickhead, but YOLO, you only live once. And why waste
Yeah.
that doing something if you're not fully convinced that it's what you are meant to be doing? And then people
Mm.
say, like, oh, but you're earning good money. And it's like, is the money always worth it? Yes, if it means that you're earning enough to be able to put, a roof over your head and food on your
Mm.
table and provide for your children and give them the best life. But also, you can do that on less money. You just need to live within your means. And if there is something that you find later in your life that brings you more fulfillment and more enjoyment, then I think you should absolutely chase that. So I don't think it's ever
Mm.
a bad thing for people to be thinking about what they want in life and perhaps changing as they go. Like you're not going to, nothing bad is going to happen to you because you've decided to switch jobs every few years. You know what I mean? Like once you're dead, you're dead. As long as you're
Yeah.
earning money and you're not hurting anybody, do what the fuck you want. Do what the
Mm.
fuck you want.
Amen to that. Amen to
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Okay, so I am going to wrap up this episode by following our normal tradition of asking Bob, our ChatGPT, a question that relates to what we've been discussing today. So based on what we have been talking about today, the question we have for Bob is, what actually counts as rest? And why do some activities energize one person but drain another? I'm really curious about what Bob's going to say to this.
Because it is, isn't it? Like, if you think about, like, how different you and Manuel can be in terms of some of the things that you like to do, like, he would there be fingering a mushroom, whereas you probably like to be, I don't know, in a spa.
No, I'm not a spa gal. I'm not. I'd probably be reading a book under the tree whilst you were both fingering the mushroom.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Okay.
I hope this has put some
Um,
lovely images in people's heads.
would not surprise me at all. Okay. So Bob says, what actually counts as rest? So rest isn't just about stopping. It is anything that restores your nervous system and internal resources. And this can look really different person to person, but usually falls into one of a few buckets. So you've got physical rest, which is sleeping, lying down, and very gentle movement. You've got mental rest, which is switching off from decision making, problem solving, and planning. You've got emotional rest, which is not having to hold space for other people, explain yourself, or stay strong. Social rest, which is spending time away from people, especially if you're socially drained. Sensory rest, which is remaining in quiet, darkness, and having much less stimuli. Relational rest is being with someone that you don't have to perform for. And then joyful rest, which is doing something purely because it feels alive or playful. So what Bob is essentially trying to get at there is that rest is about recovery, not inactivity. That's really helpful, actually. I knew that, but I'd never put it into those words. So why do some activities energize one person but drain another? Well, because we all have different nervous systems, different histories, and different energy profiles. So essentially, the way that we want to rest and recover is going to depend on those, and we're going to want different things to help us restore. So some people will be stimulus seeking, so they'll be looking for music, crowds, novelty, which links to kind of seeking dopamine.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we really enjoy doing with the traveling, the going to the raves, all of that is kind of, I find that like really fulfilling, and that helps me recover. Whereas other people are stimulus sensitive, and the things that we do would actually make them feel more stressed. So people would want to kind of have more downtime and more rest in different ways. So I really like that. So rest isn't universal. It's essentially about what brings your nervous system back into balance.
Great. I like it. I like when Bob summarizes with a nice poetic ending.
I like that. Thank you, Bob.
But that does make sense though, doesn't it? Like, I think a lot of people think rest and relaxation as being like, don't do anything, just be chilling on a beach somewhere. But actually, it is very much, if your nervous system is shattered because of the stresses of work or stresses of relationships or stresses of family dynamic, you go and do something that fulfills you. And even if that is something really chaotic and it's nonstop and it's crazy, if that is what you want and that brings you joy and it resets all the chemicals in your brain, then just fucking have at it. Just do it. Jump out of planes. Go climb mountains. Go have sex on the beach and get sand in your nun. Just have at it. Do what you need to do to feel reset and ready to go again.
So our lovely listeners, please pray for us whilst we're in Rotterdam together, trying to both enjoy our different weird tastes. And I am really excited to see you, Abby. I can't believe that the day of release, we are actually going to be together. Like, how exciting is that?
It's very, very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's very much needed. And if anyone is listening to this on the Friday or Saturday, then please do check in on our social medias, because I'm sure that we will put some updates of us once we are together, which will be very, very nice. Very, very nice. If you like what you hear, like what you see, then please do support us. You can follow us on Spotify. Please just give us a like and give us a rating. Equally, you can watch us on YouTube, and we'd love it if you subscribed. And even better, click the notification bell so you never miss a Finish Friday.